Meow. What's this, then? A little kitten lost in the woods? Oh, how adorable. Oh, my. You look so cute when you're frightened, darling. I didn't mean to startle you, though. My apologies. Where am I? Well, darling, I'm right in front of you, and beside you, and behind you. I am all around, can't you tell? Oh, I know you can't see me, darling. That's part of the fun. Oh, well, aren't you rude? That is certainly no way to speak to a lady. You refuse to speak to someone you can't even see? Oh, but darling, I dwell in the shadows. For you see, I am a creature of halves and in-betweens. Am I male or female, naughty or nice? You know, no one can really say. So here I am, with all the other monsters of these woods. Oh, darling, you don't truly expect me to believe that, do you? Why wouldn't I? My dear little kitten, you claim that you'll leave if I don't show myself. However, you're not from here. You don't belong to this forest. At least, not yet. And if this forest does decide to lay claim to you, well then, you'll never be able to find your way out again. Oh, I see you heard the stories, did you? Yes, this forest is rather unique. Much like any forest, there's something just a little bit different about it. However, this difference, it can mean life or death for you humans. Oh no, honey. I am the furthest thing from a human. Now you're starting to catch on. Yes, darling, I am a creature of these woods. I belong to it, and it belongs to me. I know all of its secrets, and it knows all of mine. I know all the twists and turns that it creates. I know which way is up, which way is down, and which tree to slink behind to be taken to another part of the forest entirely. Oh yes, darling, this forest is quite magical indeed. However, you're simply a human. A human who's heard the stories, no less. Yet still you ventured in here. And why is that? Oh, really? You were curious about what you would find? Well, darling, what exactly have you found? Oh my! You found lakes of glowing water? Fairies that live underneath mushrooms? And what else did you see, darling? Oh, you've seen that, have you? Oh, most certainly, darling. I am well aware of that little spring. You say that it seemed to glow almost a soothing shade of white? Oh, darling. Perhaps you should have listened to a few more stories before you came here. Why do I say that? Darling, that spring happens to be sort of like the blood of this forest. It gives all of us life, it sustains us, protects our magic, and protects us from those who wish to harm us. Oh no, darling. If the water was going to kill you if you drank it, you'd be long gone by now. What does it do, darling? If the forest shows you its blood, it's inviting you to stay. And if you drink it, well, you can never run away. Oh, darling, wipe that expression off your face. You look as if you've seen a ghost. That's right, darling. Since you've tasted the life of this forest, you can never leave it. Well, darling, nothing will happen if you try to leave. You'll never be able to find your way out. The forest will make sure of that. However, if you were to find someone who helped you, someone who could transport you out of the forest in an instant, you would die. Because, darling, this forest is different, as I've said. Time moves quite slowly here. Though it may seem as if you've only been here for, let's say, a few hours, it's been a few weeks in the outside world. And if you were to somehow flee this forest, all that time would catch up to you. Your body would go into shock and you would die. That or age would catch up to you, and you would slowly turn to dust. Oh dear, you have family in the outside world? Well, you certainly should have thought about that before you came in here, and you certainly should have done a bit more research. Oh well, you know what they say. Curiosity killed the cat. And although the full version of that rhyme says, but satisfaction brought it back, I don't believe that applies in your case. Believe me, I would know. Oh, darling. Darling, are you... Oh dear. No, there's no need to start crying. Oh, for the love of... Here, look at me. Look at me. How rude! That is no way to speak to a lady who is trying to help you. Just look at me. Just look into my eyes, darling. See? There is nothing to be afraid of. I have no intention of harming you. And I am still the same voice who's been speaking to you all this time. You have nothing to fear. Yes, I know I have cat ears and a tail, darling. I've had them all my life. I'm aware of them. There you go, being rude again. What am I? What are you, darling? Oh, that's what you meant. Well, I don't know if you humans have a term for what I am, but I'm sort of a cross between a human and a feline. That is correct, darling. I am able to become invisible, though I wasn't always able to do that. Darling, I don't believe now is the best time to discuss that. Oh, really? It will help you calm down. So if I tell you, you'll stop crying? All right then, darling. What I mean is, I didn't always live in this forest. Though I did eventually become one with it, I was once a part of your world. Well, what used to be your world. Yes, I did say that, darling. I've had cat ears and a tail all my life. Why do you think I came to this forest? I was born to human parents. They had no idea what I was when I was born. They believed that the devil had cursed them, that I was deformed or a demon. They wanted nothing to do with me, so they abandoned me. And everyone after that. They treated me like filth. They were horrified to even look at me. I lived on the streets, darling. I survived only by the skin of my teeth, and then I heard the stories. Stories of a forest that accepted what was unusual and strange. Stories of a forest that was magical and cursed. Once you entered, there was a good chance you would never leave, and no one would ever be able to find you. Considering the people who wanted to find me wanted to hurt me, I thought it was worth the risk. So I found the forest, wandered until I found the magical spring, and then I stayed. You know, I don't actually know the answer to that. As far as I know, I'm the only creature of my kind in this forest. Are there others who are like you? Not anymore, darling. What I mean is that after a while, the magic of this forest does things to you. It changes you, darling. It makes your appearance align more with your soul, and if it's allowed you to stay, then that means there is something not quite human about you. So, I doubt you'll be staying that way for long. You are certainly full of questions, aren't you? Where was all of this curiosity before you made the decision to enter this forest? I suppose that is true. Well, I would love to stay and chat, darling, but I have no interest in answering this many questions right now. So I suppose this is goodbye, at least for now. Ta-ta, darling. Now what? Oh, you don't want me to leave? And why is that, darling? You simply don't wish to be on your own? Well, I suppose that's a good enough reason. I will still be leaving though, darling. Only this time, I'll be taking you with me.